What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Let's Play Hiveswap Friendsim for the third time. My third playthrough of Hiveswap Friendsim, in which instead of playing by myself, we're sending photos to a friend and I'm making a commentary YouTube series out of it. Today, featuring ginger ale. Because I forgot I had this on my desk. Give me a second, warning for soda noise. And I want to drink it with my water. Possible potential spoiler warning for spoilers for Homestuck proper, the rest of this game, Pesterquest, Hiveswap. I can't really spoil Hiveswap Act 2, but I'm so excited about it. I feel like I should mention it a second time. Hiveswap Act 2 confirmed, hell yes. That's the only sequel I'm pretty sure Homestuck has, so we should be good there. Character voices may be inconsistent. It's anime boy time. And as with Asdaja's voice, I don't know how to do anime voice. So I'm just looking at... Oh, actually, how far away are we? Okay, so we're about to finish Volume 10 today. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks. 2 months. And like I said last time, I was planning already on doing a Hiveswap Let's Play between this and Pesterquest. Depending on how many times I play into Act 2 by then, I may be doing Act 2 between them as well. We'll find out. In the meantime, you've been lucky enough to acquire a bounty of friendships since you arrived on this planet. But there's still an emptiness nestled right in the crook of your heart's atria. Maybe making one more friend will fix it. Maybe this next one will expand inside your chest like a sponge in the bath, pushing out all your sadness, loneliness, and insecurity. After all, number 20 is a charm. This is episode 20. Yeah. It's anime boy time. Look at him go. Boop, boop. In an utterly unsurprising turn of events, the night finds you trolling Alternia in search of, well, trolls. The friendly type, preferably, although you've been known to work wonders with hostile folks too. Your current hunting ground appears to be a primarily teal neighborhood, which suits you fine. Teals live relatively comfortably and are usually only mildly disdainful of you. This strikes you as a good place to search for companionship. You've got another pressing concern, though. A faint glow far on the horizon, which suggests that the sun will be rising soon. A couple hours from now, at most. Nights in Alternia seem to last forever, but when the daylight hits, it hits hard. Like a truck, but the truck is on fire, and the fire is nuclear fusion, and the truck is a star. Point is, you're not in the mood for another sunburn. You better snag a buddy before it's too late. I feel like I talked about this in an earlier episode, but I wonder how long a troll day-night cycle is. Because, like, obviously we have our 24 hours, and how much is day versus night seems to fluctuate, you know. It doesn't seem to fluctuate. It does fluctuate based on what time of the year it is. But trolls, do they have weather? I mean, obviously they have weather because it rains acid. But, like, do they have seasons? How long does a troll day last? I was supposed to go with the voice it did. You, strange hordeless thing. Speak of the devil. You whip around and spot a troll boy with a stylish hat and a sword sheathed behind his back. His clothes are a little shabby, but he carries himself with a rigid, composed air. What are you, some kind of mutant troll? Or another sentient creature? Definitely the latter, you say. Unless he would prefer the former, in which case you're that, actually. The mutants, you've learned, are not particularly well liked on this planet. An alien. I won't have to call you that. Not immediately, at least. You don't appear to be colon-site species. Lucky for you, I won't have to loose my blade, and lucky for me, I have to have found a potential comrade. I know what you seek. Shelter and friendship. Not necessarily in that order. You're about to speak up, but he's already moving on. You seek the meeting place of the Eastern Alternian Fine Animated Art Appreciation Society. Half-ass. Or, as some less cultured souls would call it, the Anime Club. Oh, a club! Back home, teachers used to go on and on about how clubs were a wonderful place to meet new friends. You didn't really believe it then, but maybe things are different here in Alternia. I was actually in a middle school, or an anime club in middle school, a little bit in high school, but it kind of dissolved when I got into high school. I didn't meet, actually, two of the friends I met in that club are the only two friends I still have from school. You confidently assert that, yes, you are here for the animes. Good. I feared I was going to have to cancel tonight's meeting due to no-shows, but now it can proceed as scheduled. Follow me. He gestures toward his hive and begins to stride confidently towards it, but then he rethinks it, pausing to look back at you. Wait. Subs or dubs? Wait. Some of the later trolls I don't remember. Because my actual personal opinion, if we're talking about anime here, is that dubs and subs serve different audiences, and that they, you know, like, sometimes I can't hear for shit, and so dubs are good. Tegiri. Sorry, I'm searching. You know, and subs are really interesting. Not interesting. Subs give obviously more true to the source material, because they are the source material. Some subs are bad, some dubs are bad. I don't know what I'm saying. Okay. So both are good? His expression immediately sours, a look you're all too familiar with. If you had a mouse, you'd be frantically scrolling the wheel upwards to roll back time and make a new choice. But you live in the real world, where you have to face the consequences of your god-awful anime opinions. Sorry. Just... Have you no conviction? The anime club is a sanctuary for those of strong will and finely honed arguments, not shelter for cowardly peasants. What debate can come from a psychopath toady such as yourself? How are you going to stimulate our intellect? You get to sputter in protest. You're plenty stimulating. You've got a pretty long list of friends who stimulated in all kinds of ways. Platonic ones, mostly. But he's not having any of it. There are other anime fans in this city. Perhaps their gatherings will be more your level. Farewell. There he goes. I can't read the Alternian. I'm assuming it says something along the lines of perish. I don't know. I don't have time to translate it. So, I believe these two lead to the same ending, so let's do subs. It's entertaining how wrong you are. But even the greatest of Alternian philosophers required sparring opponents on the battlefield of intellect. To challenge your assumptions, my superior logic and taste will be a fulfilling task. Come in. Not really the reaction you were hoping for, but you'd say anything to get into someone's hive, so you'll take it. So, yeah, and then if you go back to dubs, he says, perfect, a fellow connoisseur. Let's continue. Also, Palipa! Tegiri invites you into his hive with a sweeping bow, and you step into the foyer. And let's take a second to appreciate this anime-ass room. Once again, there she is. Palipa's great. So many swords. That one almost looks, this one up in the corner, almost looks like Briska, which is weird. There's some throwing stars. Look at all them titties. The hive looked normal from the outside. Normal by troll standards, at least. But the inner decor has an entirely different vibe to it. It reminds you of Japanese architecture. Tegiri takes off his sandals before entering the next room. You take off your shoes, too. If you had any. As you step into his living room, you are assaulted, not literally, thankfully, by an absolute smorgasbord of merchandise. This place like someone did a Google search for Otaku collection and opened the first result. Why do I feel like that's exactly how they designed his room? Just saying. Posters and scrolls adorn every inch of wall available, and the inches of wall that aren't available are blocked by shelves containing all sorts of DVDs, manga, and other such forms of media. On a large glass shelving unit near the room's exit, you spy a veritable cornucopia of anime figurines, most of whom seem to be in varying states of undress. I have 3 different Link figures, and that's about all the anime figures I am. You would like to describe it as tasteful nudity, but you would also like to describe yourself as the most popular person on Alternia, and both would be a lie. Tegiri has arranged his smurfs meticulously according to blood color, from red at the bottom to fuchsia on the top. I see you're admiring my fine East Alternian collectibles. I polish them daily, just as I polish my blade. Don't touch them, or you'll taste folded steel. You slowly retract your hand. You wouldn't dream of touching them. That was never, ever something you were planning on doing. You won't even breathe on them. In fact, you step far away from the collectibles, just in case. Also, his... Well, first of all, that's... what's his name? Mr. Pirate Boy. Monkey, I think. Not Monkey. It's something else. But also, his swords aren't in blood color, because there's red up here. And purple here. Purple down here. Oh, wait, that's... Oh, I don't remember the name of the blade. Homestuck. Homestuck? In my Homestuck? It's more likely than you think. With that step, you bump into something behind you and hear a soft woof. As you spin around to look, you see what means to be Tegiri's Lucis, surveying you with an intense gaze. It looks a lot like a Shiba Inu, if they were twice the size and had opposable everything. Honestly, watching it scuttle around like a monkey while sniffing you is pretty entrancing. Eventually, you seem to meet its standards because it darts out of the room. You hear some rustling in what you assume is the kitchen. That was Tadashi Inu, my Lucis. You taught me everything I know. I cannot have asked for a better sensei. Yeah, dogs are great, you respond. And then you immediately wish you could take that back. Dogs are great. That's got to be the blandest possible statement you could have made. What's up, everybody? I think dogs should vote. And possibly inaccurate, too. What's this thing called? A bark beast? A fetch fiend? A wolf gremlin? Oh, Tegiri isn't even paying attention to you anymore. He's busy perusing his shelves, picking out some DVDs. Per my viewing schedule, we'll watch a carefully curated selection of episodes from one classic and from one recent release. But, since you're a newcomer, it might be best not to jump into the middle of the last best series, Philosopher Half-Iron. Perhaps we shall instead begin the first season of school-fed heroism and transition into some episodes of Kismet Stuck Morning. The original era, of course, not the censored one with the ridiculous CGI dragon. Ugh. Looks like Tegiri intends to take full control of the morning's activities, which you find entirely copacetic. Copacetic. What the fuck is a copacetic? Gonna Google it, folks. Copacetic. In excellent order. Wild. The less you need to assert your own opinions and make your own choices, the less likely you are to fuck up. It's probably not a healthy way to live, but it's gotten you somewhere between 1 to 19 friends so far, so you're sticking to it. With deft and precise movements, Tegiri retrieves the disc from its container and pops it into the troll equivalent of a DVD player. It makes a slimy, chugging noise as it sucks the disc in, and like usual, you aren't sure if it's an animate object or a living being. Either way, you're a little disgusted. The DVD player hums, and Tegiri's TV lights up with a colorful title screen. You're ready to get settled in for a journey through the wonderful world of animes, but he frowns and pauses the episode less than a minute in. I'm trying to remember what animes we watched in anime. I mean, we watched a lot of animes in Anime Club. It was an anime club. You watch animes in Anime Club. We watched Vanguard. I can't remember literally anything else. I was in the same anime club for like 4 years. Whoops. Hang on. This isn't the correct copy. The localization of these lines was changed after the original translator was called by a purple blood for crimes against buffoonery. I specifically ordered the first edition and paid extra for it. This is unacceptable. Tegiri stops the DVD player, ejects the disc, and places it back in its case. Come, there's still time in the night. We need to go resolve this immediately. The shop that imported for me is nearby. He heads for the door and beckons for you to follow, which you do. I guess it was too much to hope for a quiet morning inside, wasn't it? Also, I know Eastern Alternia is just like an excuse for anime to exist in this universe, but are they? They have to be under the same rule, right? Or are they? Are there two empresses? Or heiresses, I guess? Hiveswap back 2, please. Question answered. At least you get to go shopping for animes, which sounds fun enough. Will it be at one of those fancy automated stores, you wonder? No. Unlike most stores in Alternia, this specialty shop is run by a living troll, a fellow collector who would not entrust such work to automation. So one would expect, with an actual think pan involved, there'd be no careless mistakes like this. At least I'm on good terms with the owner, so I doubt there will be trouble. You, on the other hand, expect plenty of it. Pretty much everything on this goddamn planet has been trouble so far. Does he know how awful it is here? I don't want a human explain to him or anything, but things are pretty awful here. Things are pretty awful here. Oh. I guess he knows. He's staring at one of the many billboards that line the streets, which have been defaced with bright red graffiti. It's saying some pretty nasty stuff about Trizza. We've learned to read, everyone. Vital sentiments grow by the moment. Alternia lies on the verge of peril, a blade's edge. Not any blade, but the blade of a razor-sharp folded steel katana, forged under East Alternian moonlight. Heated by the bellows breath of a magnificent draconian Lucis, cooled by a shimmering cascade of an acid waterfall, and fit to be handled only by a true expert. Do you dance? You're a little caught off guard by that question. Dancing, as in moving one's body into music? No, it was never going to be that easy. In a way, yes. Moving to the sweet music of steel on steel, the rhythm of combat, the stiletto step that weaves death and glory into one beautiful motion. Do you dance? Oh, sword fighting, of course. You really should have figured that one out. This guy's dial has only two settings: talking about swords or talking about anime. Sometimes he gets particularly frisky and talks about both at once. He's just... Leave him alone, he's just an autistic weeb. You tell him that you don't know how to handle swords, but they seem really cool, and you'd love to learn. Cool? Swordplay is more than cool. It's a way of life, a code of honor. To pick up the blade is to bind yourself to the tenets of Bushido, and prepare at all times to enforce justice the only way a swordman knows, through steel. Someday the pursuit of justice may bring me face to face with these rebel scum. I must be ready to show them the true, magnificent terror of the blade. Who knows, maybe I'll even be awarded a Congressional Medal of Honor. A troll can dare to dream. So that's why you practices swordplay, huh? To enforce justice? Kind of like a vigilante? Vigilante, please. I would only ever call a troll who legally deserved death. What kind of lawless moron do you take me for? You don't take him for a moron at all. In fact, he's very smart and clever and just. Actually, was it... I made a meme about the Hiveswap Act 2 announcement. Oh, I didn't post it in my meme. I think he's in the group shot of all the teals. Yeah, he's there. He's being a dork. Oops. Don't mind me just clicking around my computer. You hope you're not laying it on too thick? He seems to enjoy the praise. Ah, we're here. This won't take long. He's taking you to a night market that reminds you of the place where you met Felipa. A strip mall lies to the left of many tenants and stalls, and a sign above one door reads, Super Tipado Imports. Troll Overwatch confirmed. Oh, there's Snake? That's pretty cool. I'm just gonna look around. I love the backgrounds. I've said this before, I'll probably say it again. I love the backgrounds. I think they're so fun. This specific door, this is going to be an incredibly specific memory. This red door frame here reminds me of a roller rink in my town, where basically everybody had a birthday party at one point or another. Yeah. And the carpet. As you enter, Tegiri makes a beeline for the counter, which is manned by a greasy-looking goldblood with pinkish-looking eyes. You, on the other hand, are more interested in the rest of the store. It looks a lot like Tegiri's living room, but bigger. Anime figurines on sale for what looks to be a preposterous amount of money, TVs and comics laying the shelves, arcade games in the corner. There's even a section for replica swords, which all look far too sharp and legitimately deadly for your liking. Skulking between the shelves is an olive blood guy. You can't quite tell if he works here or if he's just browsing. You're not sure if any trolls even have normal jobs. They don't, they're all teenagers. You're about to ask the olive guy about a particularly interesting DVD when you're distracted by a commotion at the counter. You're pretty sure you heard Tegiri snarling something about his rights as a consumer. Looks like trouble is brewing. You turn your head toward the counter and listen in. Normally we'd be approaching the time of year where the con I go to, I miss it. I mean, obviously for safety reasons we can't have it this year, but... Do you really think you can get away with ripping me off like this? Do you know who I am? My blood caste? A tealblood like me has connections, a vast network of like-minded souls in my beck and call, ready to be unsheathed against my hapless foes. The legal force I can bring to bear against you is greater than your puerile mind could ever imagine. A fleet of legislators will descend on you like shadow clones, each armed with the greatest weapon of them all, knowledge. And with our intricate understanding of the alternative legal code, you'll be mirrored in suits so myriad, no mind-numbing, you'll wish for the swift and early death my blade can provide. Or, you could offer me an exchange of equal or greater value to my original purchase. Which path will you choose to walk, scum? You wander closer to the counter, hoping you might be able to resolve the situation, but instead, you blunder right into the olive blood and send a box tumbling from his hands to the ground. A bunch of assorted products spill out as the shopkeeper gasps dramatically. You don't see what the big deal is. Looks like somewhere in DVDs and manga. One cover features a troll with heart-shaped horns and a bright pink sign. Another features some red-blood douchebag wearing pants way too tall for him. So I'm pretty sure this is the thing that's like a reference to the YouTube series I can't remember the name of, but I've never seen it. I should finish rereading Homestuck and watch that series. Tegiri picks up one of the mangas and waves it in front of the shopkeeper's face. Care to explain what I'm looking at here? Imperial Dictate, number the 2nd, section 3.2. The depiction of non-standard hematological attributes is strictly forbidden. Imperial Dictate, number the 7th, section 5. Material which encourages action against the state is considered contraband of the highest degree. The olive blood, who can clearly see the situation careening downhill like a scuttlebuggy without wheel stops, begins to creep toward the door. You would love to do the same. You can't give up on a potential new friendship. It's basically pathological. Tish, to think that my favorite Eastern Alternian hobbyist could stoop so low as to peddle this criminal filth. What a sickening betrayal. The shopkeeper stammers, offering a litany of muddled explanations that only seem to incense Tegiri further. He was holding her for a friend. It's satire? He's got his nerd contacts in. Goofy boy. Tegiri slams a palm down on the counter with his eyes shoot open, revealing dark purple irises with a strange swirl pattern. Imperial Dictate, number the 61st, section 2. Satire is especially contraband. You think you can mess with me? I've watched countless hours of legal drama, played and replayed legendary legislator, and memorized every twist. I know the law back and forth. And now it's time for the punishment due. You're fucking dead, kiddo. Tegiri, you're the same age. I hate to break it to you, you're also a kiddo. As Tegiri leans over the counter, his free hand grips the hilt of his katana and tenses, ready to draw. He's about to straight up execute this guy. At first, we're about to watch Tegiri commit murder. Because yeah, I'm pretty sure the bad end is don't intervene. You really don't want to get in between the shopkeeper and Tegiri's sword. For all you know, this really does warrant immediate execution. Who are you to judge? You do, however, squint a little, so you don't have to see the full, gory detail of the culling. Turns out, it's not nearly as gory as expected. Tegiri leaps over the counter and swings wildly at the guy, but many of his attacks fail to connect. It's mostly a bunch of bombastic anime-style moves that don't translate well to actual combat. You know, who didn't go through that phase as a kid? Get yourself a fake sword and suddenly going whoosh, 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 whoosh. But like, you're just outside in your backyard, so you're not hitting anything. Oh, jeez. Still, some strikes hit home, drawing a spray of murky gold blood that jolts the shopkeeper out of his petrified fear. I didn't think I had to put a blood warning on this one. I forgot. He screeches and unleashes a strobing psionic blast from his eyes, causing Tegiri to stagger back, disoriented. The flash of light doesn't seem to have caused any real damage, but offers a perfect opportunity to flee. By the time your eyes have adjusted to the only thing they see is the back door swinging wildly in his wake. Unsurprisingly, the olive blood is nowhere to be seen as well. Tegiri glances down at his katana, stained with the blood of the shopkeeper, and slowly sheaths it. His hand is shaking, claws tapping the hilt restlessly. He turns to you, forcing himself back into his usual stoic posture. That's the Roomba again. We got lucky is all, but he can't hide forever. Let's go, we need to report this to a drone. He strides out of the shop, leaving you to follow hurriedly behind. What a mess. You hesitantly ask him whether it was really necessary to try and kill that boy for what he did. Of course it was. The law is absolute, a foreigner like you might not understand. It is not my duty to question the righteousness of my actions. I am but a tool through which the law is enforced. I am the blade your imperious condescension wields to maintain order in this world of chaos. Just like this drone. He gestures to one of the big, hulking drones that you've grown all too familiar with during your stay here on Alternia. Right now, it looks like it's cleaning up some bronze-colored blood that was splattered on the side of the building. Tegiri approaches and hails it, beginning to explain that there's a collector's shop he needs to report for rebel activity, but the drone isn't listening to any of that. It slowly turns from him to stare directly at you, and it raises its weapon to your face. And grating electronic noise issues from its metallic grill. In the immortal words of a wise cartoon dog. Ruh-roh. Hold it! This creature's under my protection and has committed no crime. If you continue this attempted culling, I will strike back with my katana. And a strongly worded letter to your superiors. The drone seems supremely annoyed that it can't just get down to culling a motherfucker, but Tegiri's cast may be just high enough to give it pause. You, the motherfucker in question, are incredibly relieved. That relief quickly fades when the drone produces a palm husk with a blurry picture of you on the screen, and a lot of text beneath, most of it flashing red. That's never a good sign. It looks like a rap sheet. Tegiri reads through it quickly, which is a pretty impressive feat considering his eyes are still closed, and his expression darkens the further down he gets. Wanted under suspicion of meat product theft, heist of fine art, accomplished the assassination of Violet Blood. Ooh, you didn't realize you'd racked up such a heavy list of crimes. He's already rounding on you with a fury rating off of every inch of his being. It's terrifying. You seem this guy arguing with a retail clerk. You know what he's capable of. All this time, I thought your soul was open to the way of the samurai. I thought I met a potential new connoisseur of the animated arts. But no, your blood pressure pumps only lies through your villainous veins. You were just looking for an alibi, a place to bide your time, to hide away from the drones until it was time to indulge once more in your criminal ways. You tried to defend yourself. You didn't do any of those things. And you had a perfectly good reason for most of them. Tegiri isn't buying it. He's clutching his katana's hilt so tight, veins are bulging on his hand. Silence, coward. The time has come for my blade to strike true. Ha! He draws his blade in a smooth motion and swipes at you, and you just barely manage to sidestep the attack. Look at him go, anime boy! Oh, I mean my mouth hurts. You dart backwards, stumbling over yourself in your haste to get away, while he swings his katana wildly around while making lots of weird grunting noises. Once again, his mouth has been writing a check his sword can't cash, but you doubt that matters when trolls are stronger and faster than you in general, and he's accompanied by a giant murder drone. It's time for you to split, and you'd better do it lickety. Glancing around, you notice you're about to cross over a bridge with an underpass beneath it. Perfect! Just like an action hero, you can hop right over the edge of the road, duck into the underpass, and find a nice hiding spot. You dash towards the traffic barrier, vault nimbly over it, and oh Jesus piss, this is way higher than you thought it was! You hit the ground with a resounding crack, and for a moment your vision goes blank, as a wave of pain sears your nerves. As the pained disorientation begins to fade, you decide it's about time to take stock of your situation. A couple of broken bones, old hat, a troll trying to kill you, not unfamiliar, drones attacking you, same, and the sun about to rise and scorch you into nothing, again. Individually, you've risen to the challenge of just barely handling each of these problems. But all at once? Yeah, you think we're just gonna call this one here. Useless. We've been called useless. The reader's just like fucking done. Someone stepped on this marshmallow, and they're dead on the pavement. If you just heard my phone buzz, no you didn't. Just kidding, I'm pretty sure it's my boss is texting me. It is. It was my boss. So, we're gonna go get the good ending. I have to remember what Palipa sounds like. So give me a moment. I vaguely remember what I did. So we're gonna defend the shopkeeper this time. Okay. You know this is a terrible idea, but you've seriously had it up to here with being party to murder of random trolls. You quickly interpose yourself between Tegiri and the gold blood. Does he really have to kill this guy? What seems to be his first offense? You launch into a passionate spiel about love and friendship and justice, writing the value of forgiveness and second chances really hard. And, for good measure, you throw a little side note about how Tegiri's favorite shop will close down if he kills this dude. Silence. Tegiri shoves you roughly aside and you go careening into a display full of body pillows. You watch, stomach plummeting, as Tegiri turns back to the shopkeeper and slowly draws his sword. But then, at the last second, he reconsiders. Consider yourself lucky I'm in a good mood. If I catch you selling contraband again, your life will be mine. Tegiri strives out of the store, holding a fresh copy of the DVD he wanted to exchange. You give the shopkeeper a vaguely apologetic look and rush out of the store behind him. Phew, that was a close one. You thank Tegiri profusely for listening to your dumb little speech about whatever it was you said. Honestly, you already forgot. You're clearly new to this planet. I felt pity for your naivete. But I should have just killed him. Death is a legally prescribed punishment for such crimes as his. Actually, this is legally prescribed punishment for most crimes. I should have separated him from his head. But I looked into your pleading eyes, and I saw. Tegiri goes quiet. You describe the silence as being particularly brooding. There's a lot of silences like that on this planet. Then finally he speaks. This isn't my first time. It was just over a week ago, I believe. I was patrolling the hive batch in search of evildoers when I caught the unmistakable scent of smoke in the air. Upon pursuing the lead, I saw a hive, partially collapsed, partially on fire. My instincts flared and I rushed in to help the innocent soul who was trapped there. But as I was helping the girl bandage her wounds, it occurred to me that I had made a grievous error in judgment. Trolls below a certain age without a lucis or a proper hive are considered unviable and slated to be culled. By rights, I should have put her out of her misery the moment I realized my mistake. And yet, I looked into her deep grey eyes, dulled from the pain of loss, and I sheathed my blade. In fact, even though she is hiveless and lucisless, I remain in contact with her to this day. Knowing deep down one day I must cull her, the law demands it. But I haven't yet. I don't know if I could. Why does my conviction waver at times like these? If he's talking about who you think he's talking about? Pretty sure he couldn't kill her even if he tried. But that's not the point here. The point is, he's spilling some real and true deep emotion with you. This friendship is basically in the bag. Just gotta drop some sweeping, vague nonsense that makes him feel better about potentially not being an unthinking cog in the Malturnian murder machine. You offer a light suggestion that maybe what is legal and what is just aren't always the same thing. Just a little thought. Maybe he's doing the right thing, overlooking her situation because of obviously how fucked up it is to be a homeless orphan. He goes silent for a long time, chewing his bottom lip. You're naive. Naive, uncultured, unenlightened. Wow, thanks! You think the world is simple, like a cartoon for children. But this is Alternia, a land ruled by cold logic, where men such as myself must make the hard decisions. It's not easy being dedicated to the code of law. It asks much of us and gives us little in return, but it gives us order, keeps the beasts at bay. If I were to question it, what then? Then you would have a 10-minute conversation about the history of Alternian rebellion. Would I begin to wonder if it was unjust for a blue blood to command his servants, for impaled drones to call the infirm, for us to obey the ever-changing winds of the Alternian royalty? It takes a lot of effort to suppress your, well, yeah, but for the sake of this burgeoning friendship, you allow him to continue his monologue. Riots in the streets, troll killing troll, even more than usual, I mean. No, I cannot waver. These hands must remain steady and true. Though I feel a pull towards the scorching fangs of the light, I must continue my path and remain in the tender, righteous embrace of the dark. Truth be my blade, intellect my sensei, and justice my only companion on this lonely road. He goes on like that for quite a while. It all starts to muddle together in your head, and you lose count of how many times he's repeated some screed about justice and truth and being smarter than all the other trolls in the room. It sounds to you like he's just lonely. You know a whole lot about loneliness and the poor management thereof. Some people throw themselves into their nerdy anime hobby, and others become obsessed with making friends no matter the cost of their mental or physical well-being. Maybe he just needs a couple good pals to remind him what it's like to have a heart. But if you try to tell him that, he'll probably just respond with another long and winding monologue, likely stolen from an anime you watched recently. Maybe you should just let him vent. You have my thanks for lending your ear. Oh, a compliment brings out your reverie. Nothing interrupts the old introspective machine like a opportunity to chug on that succulent ambrosia that is any praise or gratitude. It's no big deal, you tell him. You're a great listener. That's what friends are for. Has he considered having more friends? Like you, for example? He opens his mouth like he's about to reiterate the whole lone swordsman thing, so he hastily tried to change the topic. What's with his eyes? Most trolls you've seen have had gray irises, and those who didn't followed the typical biological trend of displaying their blood color. Tegiri pauses, his grip tensing on his sword as his fangs dip into his lip. Oh, jeez. This must be his most closely guarded secret. Have you earned their trust to hear it? They're contact lenses for cosplay. No. Fair enough. Actually, is cosplay considered a blood cast even legal on this planet? If he's doing it, it probably is. Right? I hope so, else we have to add another crime to Claire's list of crimes. You're about to ask when something distracts you, the sight of another troll standing in front of Tegiri's hive, using it as shelter from the rising sun. She's gonna be back! They're pacing back and forth with precise movements, glancing at one of the windows, almost like they're plotting to break in. And when they hear footsteps approaching, they perk up and whirl their head around. Hey, wait a second, you recognize them! She's back! Don't mind me doing a dumb dance, I just like her a lot. Philippa stops you before Tegiri spots her. No, Philippa spots you before Tegiri spots her. Her expression is hard and stoic, eyes glancing between the two of you as she assesses the situation. And then, like she's throwing on a disguise, her face softens and she smiles. Hey, Tex. I was starting to wonder where you were and if anime night was cancelled. Ulysses is staring at me through the window. I think he thinks it's funny, watching me stuck outside, roasting to death while you're chasing Pervious around the hive patch. Classic Tadashi. Why were you late? Just busier than expected, with some work. She shoots you a sharp glance. Assembling some new mech models. You know how it is. Yes, of course, it's all too easy to get wrapped up in one's hobby. Anyway, I didn't realize we'd have a third for once. Not to mention, somebody I know. Honey, you and my new kohai have already met. She pauses, her eyes darting back and forth between you two once more. She seems to be assessing the situation, wearing a look like an assassin trying to evade capture. You recognize that look, considering she was literally wearing it last time you met. We're kinda Moiros. Whoa! That's absolutely not what you thought you were. But you just kind of nod your head and roll with it. It seems to be what she wants you to do. Oh, Moiros. Tegiri's face tightens almost imperceptibly, but you caught it. Nothing gets past your honed, friend-making eyes. Well, actually, a lot of things get past them, but not this particular thing. You're finely tuned to the nuances of social situations, as long as those nuances don't involve making a binary choice on which your social future hinges. I'm not. That's a lie. I don't know shit. Well, as you know, I'm far too busy studying the blade to pursue quadrants of any sort. A foolish waste of time. Were it not for the laws of this land, I would swear them off entirely. Are you sure it isn't like you can't just get a date? You don't have to play the mysterious loner, you know. There's other clubs you could join, instead of insisting on running your own. He coughs, looking away. You hear his Lucis barking from behind the window, in a tone that sounds like laughter. Fools mock which that which they cannot understand. And to think I was going to congratulate you on finding love. Once you finish your spiel about romance being dumb. Felipe gives him a light, friendly whap, which he responds to with a smile. You can tell the friend is friendly not only because he's smiling, but because he's still standing. Enough banter. The harsh glare of the sun begins to crest. We have Eastern Alternian animation to indulge in. I'll allow you both to spend the day at my hive if needed. There's space. Oh shit. A slumber party? And with more than one participant even? There's got to be with extra friendship points. You are so in. Shelter from the broiling death of the sky barely even registers to you as an added bonus. Felipe smiles at you and the three of her enter Tegiri's hive. We're in the anime zone. Tegiri covers up all his windows. Sorry, I can't remember what that said. I think it's this 1-1. Tegiri covers up all of his windows to block out the sun, which then starts up a new copy of his DVD, which thankfully seems to meet his standards this time. You settle in on the couch, basking in the warm glow of friendship, and prepare to lose yourself to hours of the beautiful, wonderful animes. Yay! Anime club! There is a monkey dog, there's a boy, there's one of the best girls in the game. I'm having flashbacks to learning Japanese. I no longer know Japanese. But yeah, that wraps up this episode. We got Tegiri, we got some friendship. Having a good time. I don't remember who's next. Let's check to see who's next week. That's not the button I want. I'm running out. I should really write myself an outro. I'm running out of things to say. Oh, that's right. It's Cerulean Boy and I'm gonna stab you. That's not all Inera does. She does other things. But that's the end of this week. Hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye! Okay, it has literally been like 4 days, since I recorded this episode, but I remembered something that, while I was editing, I remembered I made this meme, so here's this meme that I made. Technically it was about a fic, but honestly, it just goes for all Homestuck things. So, bye a second time.